Hello and welcome back to our UCL recap video. And what a week it has been like. How will I say? I haven't seen this Champions League has been like this unpredictable, exciting, lot of dramas. Not just any more boring games as such.
Don't think I'm hating on Real Madrid, but this is what happens when Real Madrid and Man City are not there in the knockout. So good.
Yeah, it's just so much drama. A lot of things. Oh my god. I mean, usually, like after watching the game, you'll be tired. Like I didn't feel like sleeping itself watching the game. Just thinking about what the fuck happened on the game. Yeah,
Adrenaline.
yeah. So much this thing. I mean, I don't know where to start. Where should we start?
We'll start off in the same order the games went. But if you talk about the Barca game, no one will listen to the Arsenal game. So we'll start off about the Arsenal game.
Yeah, so we'll start with the Arsenal game. So I think both of us predicted that PSG will get through. It was. How will I say? It was close. Both the ties. I think overall, PSG were the better team, but then both the games were actually close. At one point, either team could have won it, and
could have won it, but
have won it.
Contrary to what Mikel Arteta said, do you genuinely feel like Arsenal deserve to win or whatever else?
No, that is just bullshit. I don't know what that was just peak level coping he was trying to do at the end of the game. Like we were the better team of the overlegs. What were you better at in the score? Definitely not at finishing your goals. Like what is it?
I hated his comment saying that both the teams, Inter and PSG, are in their finals because of their goalkeepers. As if goalkeepers are not part of the team.
Yeah,
as if goalkeepers are not part of the tactics. What bullshit. For
a person
exactly, for a person who has a top level job for 8 years, him saying that is just nonsense.
Again, like a complete undermining goalkeeping and when a manager, someone who coaches such a big club talks like shit like this, there's something clearly wrong with this ideology. So
again, we'll go back to the game and not his comments after, because comments were useless.
Yeah. So game, how will I say? I think PSG were like somewhat in control. Despite all their superstars, I guess I think the one still same person I think who consistently performed in the other game and this game was Donnarumma.
He's also a superstar, but yeah.
Yeah, comparatively, and people just forget how young that guy still is. He's just 26, and this is his 10th season of professional football, like first division football. He started, I think, around when he was 16 or 17.
Yeah, 17.
17
if I'm right.
Yeah, that is ridiculously young for a goalkeeper.
And you have to think about people. Goalkeepers play till 40.
40, yeah. People think about all this young. I don't know how people are not even aware of it. Probably because he's a keeper, nobody covered that in coverage much.
And he might not be playing in like England or Spain or something fancy like that.
I don't know how people forget to notice. Like people are talking about how Lamine Yamal started when he was 16, 17 years old. He's so young player or something. This guy did that way back, and him being a goalkeeper for an outfield player, it's even more believable to say that. For a goalkeeper, I don't see any keeper making it to the first team as a first choice keeper until they're like 23, 24. This guy reaches like a whole 8 years prior. Now he's a well-established keeper when he's 26. Like even if he wins this UCL, he won't be considered as an old keeper who won it UCL. Even if he wins it, so it's ridiculous. It's been there for a long time.
And I think this disrespect towards players who are not forwards or midfielders has to stop, because people talk about Pedri and Jude Bellingham and Mbappe for that reason, and Lamine Yamal and whoever else. There are so many other young defenders who are very good.
Yeah.
Off the top of my head itself, see, even Trent also was glorified because first of all he played in the Premier League. And second, his attacking contribution was quite good and his attacking output was a lot higher. So unless people attack, you won't win. Again, there's a very famous quote by this manager. I don't know who this manager was, but he said that attack might win you games, but defense is what wins you championships or trophies or cups, because you have to be consistently there throughout. And this is a point we will revisit when we go back to the Barca Inter game.
Yeah.
But again, here also, Donnarumma was sensational throughout the game, and it's like Donnarumma was a Saka. It's like his nemesis. Whenever Saka and Donnarumma face against, Donnarumma is always coming out on top. And I'm referring to the Euros, by the way.
Yeah.
So again, the game was won and lost by how well the defense coped with the attacks. It was about how much pressure they were willing to absorb, because both teams have pace, both teams have very good attacking outlets.
Yeah.
And it was about how well they coped, how much pressure they could soak up trying to wait for their chance to get it.
Yeah.
And I think in that way, PSG technically deserved, or whatever else you could say, because they took their chances well enough. I'm not saying they took all their chances and
to be fair, they created a lot of clear-cut chances also. I don't see why he's telling, like, the only where I think Arsenal is like, they just took more number of shots. Like, most of them were outside not even on target. PSG actually
high quality chances.
Yeah, high quality chances. Not the point. Yeah, and both the goals that they scored, like, again, brilliant. I couldn't find any fault. There was no floppiness. There was not like unfortunateness in any of those goals.
Yeah, you can't say okay, because this player made a mistake.
If I be very fair, Arsenal's goal, that Saka goal was very like, it was a ricochet goal. That was a more messy goal than what Hakimi or Fabian Ruiz. Oh my God, Fabian Ruiz. Did not expect that. Like, out of everyone else, out of so much attacking powers they had, I did not expect Fabian Ruiz to score that. But it was a beautiful goal. Again, Hakimi scoring when it matters. So the game, I mean, like, it's like the other players in and around also contributing when they've the opposition has marked the forwards. So I mean, overall a good performance. And I don't think in any way that Arsenal were the better team in both legs. And if you are the better team, then you should have scored. And otherwise, anything else is just coping. So,
and again, midfield was a very important thing. And Martin Odegaard, I'm not saying he had like a atrocious game, bad game, he doesn't deserve to be here and all, no.
Yeah.
But he is a big player, and he's supposed to be a big game player, and so is Declan Rice with what he did against Real Madrid. But both of them, I do not think lived up to their potential over these two legs. And I think that also is what came back to hurt PSG. Again, if you watch the game, you will realize what I keep telling you about PSG's midfield. They are a very, very good midfield, and I think that is what gives the attacking their edge over other people. That is what gives the attacking players the freedom to stay up there and drift and do whatever, because they know the midfield is going to take care of it even if we lose the ball. And that's a solidity that you need, and I think they're a deserving finalist for this UCL, and if they win, I won't have any problems with it at all, because they deserve it. They have been consistent throughout, and again, the Farmers League shouts, as Luis Enrique pointed out, have to stop. He is literally like, we are the farmers now, and I think that's a good enough this thing to say. I think one of the things that works in their favor is that because people consider them a team from the Farmers League, they always are taken a little less seriously than they ought to be.
Yeah.
And I think that is working out in their benefit. But if they win the UCL, I don't think they'll be considered like that for long.
Yeah. This season, it is working. Like, people rule them out too much. And especially Arsenal, because they bet them convincingly. I told you, I think that really got into their head.
Yeah.
I mean, and plus the whole, they were like very, like, how do I say, high off the win from against Real Madrid, little much confidence. I think they got a reality check again. So I don't know how much long this process thing is going to go. It's been 8 years and I haven't seen any result till now. So
FA Cup, sir, how can you discount it? How dare you?
They won that even before, Before Arteta came also used to keep winning.
That's the only trophy they're consistent.
Yeah, the most consistent team in FA Cup and Community Shield, Arsenal FC. So
and again, they got knocked out of that also, Carabao Cup.
This season, irony is that Spurs and United can become more successful this season than this. How do I say? Second place champions.
Again, it's a controversial thing. Maybe we can have a discussion about this. If anyone wants to listen about it, we want your inputs about it.
Yeah.
With Man United being 16th, 17th, and Tottenham Hotspur being there, if they win a European trophy and Arsenal finish second, which one would you prefer? Please let us know in the comments below. And anything else you want to add to this, sir?
Nothing much, sir. I think we both predicted this thing. I think even the scoreline was quite this thing. It was just like very tight scoreline, And overall, I think the better team got through. I don't think there's much controversy involved in this game. Also, nothing much to talk about. Also, convincingly, the better team made it through the final, and we'll see how they perform in the final. Yeah.
Yes. Now let's go to the banger of the game. Let's go.
If you
And see,
think
I'm a Barcelona fan, and I am happy about how good the game was. Despite
Yeah.
us losing, you should understand how good the game was.
Highest scoring, joint highest scoring fixture in the history of UCL knockouts, and this is despite both teams scoring, not just one team dominating the scoreline. Both teams were scoring freely in this game, and if you think the first game was considered like one of the best games, second game was like hold my cup of tea. Both games, I think, similar patterns. Inter managing to score 2 goals in the beginning of the game, then Barca coming back, and towards the end of the game, you feel like one of the teams is going to win, and then the other team equalizes, and it just had to. I mean, this just had to these had to go to extra time. To get through, and I'm happy it actually finished like that in extra time and didn't go to penalties. Then both teams will get more salty. This thing like that. I think this is more of a fair result. The reason I'm mentioning extra time is because UEFA are planning to scrap extra time from next
And go
season.
directly to penalties from now for knockouts.
Penalties.
Yeah.
I would rather have this. I mean, if you're watching such a good game happening, I would rather sit and watch half an hour. What is the problem?
But again, good games like this are very rare. So
Yeah, I mean, I would rather watch it. I mean, in the end, they want more people to watch it. Why would sit and watch penalty shooter? People just watch the game. Penalty
shooters are also quite nail biting. So
coming to So that I mean, so there's so much to talk about. So from a Barca fan's point of view, sir, please.
Let's go. Let me start off this whole conversation by saying a few things. Yes, some 50-50 decisions did go Inter's way, but again, you have to take into account that these are 50-50s.
Yeah.
Either way, you should be prepared to lose them every single time. So if it is a 50-50 and it went Inter's way, I don't think it's the referee's fault. So you can't blame bad refereeing. Could some calls have gone Barca's way? Maybe. But again, these are 50-50s. If they went to Inter also, whatever you say, if it was a 50-50, if the referee chose the other way, have to live with it. You can't keep blaming stupid shit like that. Second thing, I think the game was lost when Inigo Martinez got subbed off. The second I saw Inigo Martinez coming up, I'm like gone. And then you replace him with Araujo. Araujo might be a good defender. Araujo is a good defender, but he doesn't fit in with this style of play. That is quite evident. Yeah. Third thing, and I think the most biggest thing or the thing that is overlooked most often is Jan Sommer. My God, they sold Arana for what? 50-60 million and they got him for 5 million. Sensational game. Sensational. If he was not there, this game would have been dull as one.
Yeah.
And second, an undeserving team, in my opinion, would have gone on to the UCL final. Because, in my opinion, how much ever wishful thinking we have, I don't think Barcelona deserves to be in the final or get a shot at winning the UCL. This is a young team. They're not drilled in the tactics. They do not have the capacity, in my opinion, to deal with it. And see, again, they don't have the depth enough for it. Ferran Torres might be good, but like for like replacement for Lewandowski is still not there. Pau Victor is a very good centre forward, but clearly, if Hansi Flick thinks that he is not good enough to start or play in such a big game, despite him being an out-and-out striker, it means that he's technically not up to that level yet.
Yeah.
So, from a Barcelona's fans' point of view, people who are salty are just salty without any substance in it. Inter clearly deserved to win this, and from the beginning of the game, especially in our groups and all, I was texting non-stop. I'm saying, what a team! And Inter proved that despite playing a low block, despite being so defensive, you don't have to have a boring game at all.
Yeah.
So beautiful. There's a difference between haram ball, which Atletico Madrid play, and Inter style of football or general Italian style of football, because they are usually more defensive than the others. And this game was prime example for it. And I'm not saying Atletico Madrid don't play good football. I'm just saying it's not as entertaining to watch, despite them playing very similar styles of football with everyone defending and hitting on the counter. Atletico also have very fast players and all of that, but Inter was so good. And I think the difference was also made with how well they coped with Lamine Yamal, because they kept him silent throughout the game. And whenever he did get a shot, Sommer was there. however tight, however
I think
this thing
how
it
much ever
was.
like DeMarco had a bad time managing him last game, but to be honest, like he actually fared well until he gets subbed off. He actually, I think there was like
Did quite decently, yeah.
did quite decently, and the moment he got subbed off, I think Yamal started creating more and more chances. I'm
And
not
again, DeMarco had to be subbed off because of his yellow. So
yellow, yeah. So that was like again smart decision from Inzaghi, and it kind of paid off. I mean, again, this thing. How will I say? People underestimate how good of a tactician Inzaghi is. I mean, someone was telling in our group, like, if there was anybody who was capable of taking such a team to the UCL final, it could be only Inzaghi. You look at that team, you will say, like, how are they here? So, like, that's how much of tactical genius he did with this team. With given the limited number of resources, like they're like whatever he had, like despite so many players leaving and so many aging players. So yeah, all credits to let's say Simone Inzaghi for pulling this off.
again, that age thing people kept talking about so much. These guys are younger, these guys are faster, these guys are this, these guys are that.
Yeah.
They didn't give one shit about it. They were just like, bring it on, we'll see what
I
remember
watching Thuram. Is like he couldn't run. Okay, they're forwards. Like nobody who could. They're walking at one point. Like how are these people going to mount a comeback? And all of a sudden, like how would say injury time? Injury time. A guy who got like who's a survivor of double cancer, and he's 37. I don't know. I'm not even like at the peak of his fitness. He came on to score the goal. Absurd shit. And the winner I think was scored. I think the same guy who scored the winner against Bayern only scored against Inter, I guess. Yes, Fratesi out of nowhere. I mean, like there are certain things which he cannot explain. I guess how Inter play. I think they just have like that sort of aura with them right now, like that confidence. This thing, like they will execute their plan, how much ever it is, whether they are winning or whether they are losing, they don't care.
And it's so good that he knows the limitation of his players, he knows the limitation of his tactics, and he knows what the opposition is going to do. He knows everything, and he set this team up perfectly for that. Perfectly for that. Again, if we do not know if Hansi Flick was considering the upcoming Clasico, he wanted to focus on the league more, and that's why he subbed off few players.
Okay.
But Inigo Martinez was definitely one of those players who was not supposed to be subbed.
Yeah, I have this thing regarding that. See, I when you were leading 3-2, when Araujo come in, I would rather say, because Inter were tired, you do not leave your defense exposed. Try passing the ball. Leave that. They were anyway. Barca were keeping most of the ball inside their own half. I don't think Inter had many touches or pass. They didn't pass it around most. Like only during transition they did that. They should have
29% possession.
For 4 minutes they should have just done that. 4 minutes they should have done that.
And maybe that's where experience comes into play.
Yeah, I mean, because as you said earlier, Araujo does not suit this player suit of play. So like you just keep the ball in there, like keep it to the corner. I didn't feel like why Barca like okay, like I mean at this stages of time, like for an opposition who always managed to come back late in the game against previous leg also you've seen that they managed to score. Wouldn't have been like reasonable just to like hold on to the lead, not like push on too much, because that is where maturity showed, and I don't think again the lack of experience showed there itself. I think Flick should have done that probably if they would stop going. If the game management, it was just 4 minutes, they could have just finished the game off
easily. And again, I do not think we have a high quality replacement for about 4 or 5 players. That is half of the squad. If Pedri is out, maybe Frankie de Jong can step in. But if Frankie de Jong goes up, who is going to play the exact same role that Frankie de Jong does? I don't know. Lewandowski is not there. Who plays the role of Lewandowski? I don't know. Lamine Yamal is not there. Where do you have your creative outlet to cut inside and do all that? I don't know. So if, God forbid, one of these players gets injured or they leave or whatever, for whatever reason, how do you cope? And again, I'm not discounting that Flick is also a mad genius. But still, how much can you do? And considering Barcelona's financial situation, I think they are going to be hampered in the upcoming transfer window also. So how is this team going to cope for the next season also?
Yeah.
They definitely need reinforcements in multiple areas.
Yeah.
And again, Araujo, I do not know. Maybe if he comes in, they have to change the tactics or whatever. But Despite him being fast, despite him making decent tackles and all, I think that there has to be some way for him to adapt or change, or if whenever he wanted to leave to Manchester United last season, so let him go. And again, it hurts my heart to say this because I used to like him a lot. But again, I will preface this with everything. My top 3 players in that whole squad are in this order: Frankie de Jong, Pedri, and Lewandowski. As long as these 3 people are there, I'm happy. Everyone else can go. How much ever I admire Lamine Yamal and all of that, even Lamine Yamal can go. I'm happy if these 3 people are there in the team. So again, and then Ter Stegen coming back and them trying to play Ter Stegen in one of these games, and then putting Szczesny here. And Szczesny did as well as you can expect.
From penalty, a who came from a retirement.
A penalty he couldn't save, but that's always a 50-50, and most of the time it's in the favor of the person who's taking the penalty and not the person who's saving it. So I can't blame him much. Defense was also rock solid, and special shout out to Gerard Martin. First half was dog shit, and second half he came in like he had some cocaine in his veins or some shit, playing on some next level. And appreciation to Eric Garcia. People wrote him off despite not having a lot of pace on that right flank. He did so well. I can't put it in words. Again, he's a different style of player from Koundé. He's better at passing the ball. He's better at slowing down the game. And despite that, he did what the manager asked of him. He was making the runs, going in front. He was surviving, soaking up the pressure, dropped back. He scored a goal. He has 2 Champions League goals this season. For a person who they said is good for nothing, sell him off, send him back to Girona or something. That is a crazy comeback. And I have a soft spot in my heart for anyone who comes from the Barcelona academy. So it's good to see a person like that succeed. And I don't know, I've talked enough about Barcelona. I have to give some flowers to the people in Inter Milan. Dumfries, I
think Dumfries came at the correct time for Inter. Like he was injured, he just came in and just changed the whole this thing. I think he was not available against us. Against Bayern, he was not available in both the legs. And when against Barca, I think there was like a clear, if you put a few standout players from this, one is obviously Sommer. Other would be definitely Dumfries.
And again, Dumfries deserves his flowers because if you watch any of the Serie A games, and I watched like 6 or 7 Inter games, Dumfries is getting cooked by random people who have never heard their names of. He's like legit getting cooked. Despite his pace, despite his dribbling ability, despite all of that, he gets cooked by random fullbacks, random defenders. And here he is coming and he is cooking other people. So it was very good to watch, seeing forward in his, at his best in a way. And again, credit to how Çalhanoğlu, Mkhitaryan and all Di Marco coped with that non-stop pressure. And Pedri, despite not having a bad game, did not have one of his best games in my opinion. He was trying, a few of his passes got misplaced. He was trying random flicks, it didn't work. And I think that's more credit to Inter than saying that Pedri was at fault, because 9 out of 10 times if Pedri does stuff like that, it goes through. But they studied. They would have sat down all week, watched every single video of every single player, analyzed them for 10 hours and come out with it. And they did so well that, again, appreciation where appreciation is due. The team was set up perfectly for this Barcelona team, and they delivered. And this was an all-time classic. It's one of the best UCL games I have watched in a long, long time. And I've been watching UCL since, 2010. I think my first UCL game I watched was in 2005 or 2006. So that's 20 years. This is among the best, if not the... I can't call it the best. There are, of course, have been better games. So this is among the best games. Knockout or not, that is separate. And again, this is a good way to get a reality check for this team and for the Barcelona fans who keep thinking that they're going to win everything because the team is having a good run of form. Next season will be incredibly difficult no matter how good this season was. I assure you next season will be difficult. If you want, make a screen recording of this. I will guarantee you next season will be extremely difficult, both in the UCL and in the league, because it's a relatively new team. By next team, people would have adapted to it. So, in my opinion, again, this is a very young team, and in my opinion, they did not deserve to be UCL finalists or be UCL winners. So that treble was never happening in my head. This thing was that we have to, again, lose with dignity. we should not get battered 8-2 like we got with Bayern, or we should not get kicked out by Liverpool or Roma by their insane comebacks. Lose with dignity. You play well, you leave it all on the pitch, and then you lose. I'm happy with it, and that is what happened in this game, which is why I'm not sad. People were like, how are you not crying? Because usually I have a very bad time in the morning. The next day after that, I'll be like, my mood will be so off. I was normal. I was actually happy because I watched an insane game of football. And again, the fans of Barcelona need a reality check, and they got this reality check. This was a team with no clear-cut so-called superstars, and they still managed to floor your team full of so-called superstars. So again, football is very complex. Football is a beautiful game. It doesn't respect names. It doesn't respect titles. It doesn't respect upcoming talent. It doesn't respect wonderkins. It doesn't respect any of that. On that day, what you do. And again, credit Lamine Yamal also played really well. Everyone played really well. That's what it's very difficult to say someone had a bad game, because everyone played so well and the best team won. Is that all I have to add? Or is there something else? Yeah, that's it.
I think he covered up everything. So, yeah. So, now, how about predictions for the final?
Yes, and this is not because Barcelona lost to them. I believe Inter will win. It will be a difficult game. It will be an extremely interesting game. Yeah. But I believe Inter has it to win. And I don't think PSG, in the same way as Barcelona, I don't think PSG still has that experience or quote-unquote quality to be UCL winners just yet. Maybe next year or the year after that. I think PSG does have a very good team. PSG does deserve to win it based on how their project has been going so far, but not now. And I think Inter, for all they have done over the last 6 years, 7 years, reaching the knockout so consistently, reaching the final, this is the third time now in the last 5 years. So that is an insane amount if you think of it. That's like Real Madrid stats. And if you're hyping up Real Madrid for that, Inter deserves the same respect for it without the superstars, that too. So I believe Inter deserve it, and I believe Inter will win. How they cope with PSG is a conversation for another day, but
So I'm going to go a little opposite direction just to make things interesting. So I'm going to go on PSG's side, because I think they've been as much as like how we used to say City like didn't have the UCL trophy, it took them so long. I think it's about time. I think PSG also finally, like, the investment they put in, and this is the first time they actually made smart investments. Instead of buying random superstars, they made like players who actually fit the system. Starting there, and Luis Enrique he promised, okay, we will be a better team once Mbappe leaves, and so far it has been true. Like the way they played, the way they won things. I mean, they had a shaky start to this UCL season, but ever since then they never looked back. True. They look like a completely different team. So I will not be unhappy, or I will never say that if either of the teams win, I will never say that they do not deserve it. Both teams, if they win, they played their way to get here, and they won it like convincingly. Whoever opponents they've beaten, they've done it well and true. I don't think they do not deserve to win. So both teams, this is like a conundrum right now. I do not say like that. If I would say like Inter and City at that point, I would say, okay, like that final, I would say City were like much more convincing, and they were like look like a stronger team. And Inter, we did not expect because there were like a lot of teams that were like stronger than Inter at that bracket who like surprisingly went out earlier. I'm not disregarding that run, but but this year Inter is like actually absolutely deserving along with PSG. But however, I feel like I'm going with the Munich curse on this, that whenever a final takes place in Munich, a new champion has been crowned. It has like throughout the history, if you look, I think last time it happened was Chelsea against Bayern. I think Bayern were overwhelmingly favorites, and out of nowhere somehow Chelsea won. I mean, penalties. So this game also could go down to that. I think the keepers are going to play a very good part in this. It's going to be the battle of both the keepers at least one point. But even so, I think Sommer is going to play a big role in this.
Both keepers are going to play big roles in this.
Comparatively, but it's because PSG are going to be more attacking comparatively. So.
But we thought the same about Barcelona, sir. And I'm not saying that PSG's attack and Barcelona's attack are the same. Again, we'll not break this down. If you want a video of us breaking down our reasons for this, we can make a separate video on it. But
my prediction is PSG going to win it in penalty shootouts.
Oh, penalty shootouts.
Penalty shootouts.
I think Inter will win 2-1 with an extra time goal at 1-1-4. 1-1-4.
Okay. Okay. We both have very tight score lines. Hopefully the match is entertaining because I think a lot of people will be watching. Or it'll be a feast for neutrals, obviously, at least. I mean, again, two different playing styles will be there, and we have a lot of time for the match, so we don't know how the teams will shape up because we're recording this video quite early, and the match is in June 1st. So we don't know what is going to happen at that point, how the injuries or anything that will happen. Because especially in Inter's case, they still have a title race pending. PSG already wrapped up everything. And ironically, both teams have exactly 3 games to finish just before this thing. Inter have 3 league games, PSG have a cup final and 2 league games pending. So it's going to be interesting. I feel like Inter is under more pressure because of the league. Like they will like because it's in touching distance. They wouldn't want that also to go. So let's see where they put their resources in. So I think that pretty much sums up my summary of this thing. Would you like to add anything else?
Nothing else. I just want to add that yes, we have a Thomas Muller tribute video soon. Jittu will be writing it. Jittu will be doing it. I don't think he also knows it. I'm just telling him on air. We will have that for sure.
Yeah.
And what else? We will talk about the Bundesliga again because now that the champions have officially been crowned.
Yeah.
So Bundesliga and Premier League, we will talk about it. Maybe 2 separate videos.
Yeah.
Liga, I'm not going to talk about it. There's no point of talking about it. So yes, Premier League and Bundesliga, we will talk about it. Whenever La Liga finishes, we'll talk about it.
I would like to since we talked about the United the Tottenham video. Should we make episode regarding that thing? We can add the whole Arsenal scenario along with it and teams 15th and 16th along with it. And the fact that all of us in England have confirmed 6 teams will be participating in the UCL next year. So all those we'll just put that all in one video. Let's say hopefully the Europa League, the Conference League, the whole thing. Just summarize along with that this whole success part of which is more successful, which is not successful.
That would be an interesting video.
Chelsea also might probably going to win a trophy, and which by de facto they're going to be more successful than Arsenal. So yeah, that is a topic. So if anyone is interested in from these so-called fan bases, if anyone is interested, you can also collab with us in that video.
Please, yeah, we have been asking for what City fans, United fans, Chelsea fans, Real Madrid fans, anyone who's listening, please.
Yeah.
And again, you should come up with an open mind. You can't come here expecting us to praise your team or lick their ass. So we're not doing that. No chance.
That pretty much sums up the video this far. So like, share, subscribe. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.
Thank you. We are going to have a Champions League final, but I don't know when.